Alright, so let's have another AI discussion. So, first I'm asking, I want you to look up claims of Donald Trump saying that it was wrong to go into Iraq when they originally said there was weapons of mass destruction, and then tell me why he now backs this lie up and has now bombed another country claiming that they have weapons of mass destruction when he once said they did not. Why would he say Iraq has them now, but before, when it was another president, he tried to make them look bad? And okay, I did mess up and accidentally say Iraq, but I like the response that it gave me. So, because it ended up talking about Bush and what he did with Iraq. And I've heard others critique what he said about Obama, but I didn't hear about this, so that's another layer to it. He also criticized Bush. So here goes the response. I meant Iran, but I accidentally said Iraq, so I get that that was my bad, but yeah, here we go. Oh shit, here.
Here's what I found. Professional answer. 1. Trump's past stance on Iraq, 2002 to 2004. Although Trump later claimed he opposed the Iraq War, archives show he initially supported invading Iraq in 2002, telling Howard Stern, "Yeah, I guess so." He only publicly criticized the war in 2004, long after it started, cite turn search 48, turn news 44. 2. His criticism of WMD lies. Trump called the Bush-era intelligence a lie about Saddam's WMDs. Factcheck.org confirms he said Bush lied about WMDs in 2016, cite turn search team. 3. Now claiming Iran has WMDs, Trump recently ordered U.S. strikes on Iranian nuclear sites, Natanz, Fordo, Isfahan, claiming Iran was weeks away from making a nuclear weapon, despite U.S. Intelligence Director Tulsi Gabbard and other agencies stating Iran was not building a bomb. Cite turn news turn search 4, turn search 5. 4. Why this flip and similarity to Iraq-era behavior? He's choosing to trust Israel's assessment over U.S. intelligence. Turn search 10, turn news 29. The Atlantic argues he acted opportunistically and responding to political pressure rather than new intelligence. Cite turn search 5, turn news 2779. Critics say he's repeating the same mistake, using vague or ignored intel to justify military action. Cite turn news 27, turn news 28. Bottom line, Trump previously criticized the WMD intelligence used to invade Iraq. Yet now he's using similar claims, despite intelligence saying otherwise, to justify bombing Iran, raising questions about inconsistency and political motives. Machiavelli, listen up. Trump trashed the Iraq War intel until he needed it for political points. Now he's doing the same thing with Iran, blowing stuff up while cherry-picking hearing what he wants from Israel, ignoring his own spooks. It's hypocritical. He once claimed there were no WMDs. Now he's gaslighting us by using WMD rhetoric again when it suits him. Same playbook, different target. Let me know if you want direct quotes or want to dig further into any part of this. Navlist, related news on this story. Turn news 27, turn news 29.
Okay, so let's continue on. Isn't Iraq and Iran still basically considered the Middle East? Because I wasn't sure if they're in the same area, same place, blah, blah, blah. Look, I'm not like a fucking geologist or some shit. Anyway, so.
Professional answer, yes. Iraq and Iran are both part of the Middle East, geographically, politically, and culturally. Here's how they fit in. Region. Both countries are in Western Asia, which is the core of what's called the Middle East. Shared borders. Iraq borders Iran directly. Historical ties. Both countries have long histories tied to the rise of Islam, ancient empires like Persia and Mesopotamia, and modern oil politics. Modern politics. They've been involved in many of the same regional conflicts, alliances, and rivalries, particularly involving the US, Israel, and Saudi Arabia. So yes, they're different countries, but very much part of the same broader region. Machiavelli answer. Yeah, they're both in the Middle East. Don't let the borders fool you. Different governments, same battlefield, same oil games, same Western interests pulling strings, and the same cycle of they got weapons used to justify airstrikes. Just a different flag on the map. Want to explore how US policy shifted between the two? Or how one war fed into the other?
Okay. So then I went on with, now didn't Obama go after Iran at one point, claiming they had weapons of mass destruction? And then that was turned out to be, I meant a lie, but anyways, the voice to text put alive. And didn't Trump criticize him? And so this is something I seen on YouTube that was claimed, basically. So I didn't exactly know whatever Obama did this or whatever. So I looked it up while I was doing this. So here goes the answer.
Professional answer. Obama didn't claim Iran had WMDs. Unlike Saddam Hussein's Iraq, the Obama administration focused on Iran's nuclear enrichment program, not weapons of mass destruction. Obama pursued the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, JCPOA, arguing it prevented Iran from weaponizing nuclear materials. Cite search 46. No WMD scare tactic. Under Obama, U.S. intelligence consistently assessed that Iran had halted its nuclear weapons program around 2003. And there was no claim they were building bombs at that time. Cite search 47. Trump's criticism of Obama. Trump repeatedly warned that Obama would start a war with Iran for political gain, claiming he was too weak to negotiate effectively. Cite search 11, Turn News 26, Turn News 29. Trump's contrasting actions. Despite his critique, Trump later pulled the U.S. out of the JCPOA in 2018, reimposed sanctions, and by 2025, authorized airstrikes on Iranian nuclear sites, claiming they posed a weaponization threat. Cite search 1, Turn News 28, Turn News 23. Bottom line, Obama never said Iran had WMDs. His administration used diplomacy and inspection to curb nuclear ambitions. Trump, who once criticized Obama's stance, took a far more aggressive approach by moving from policy to military action. Machiavelli. Obama wasn't ringing alarm bells about WMDs in Iran. He was pushing a deal to lock down uranium and inspections. Trump, on the other hand, he slammed Obama as too soft, then tore up the deal himself. Now he's busting bombs on Iran using the same scare tactics he once mocked. Full circle, baby. Let me know if you want quotes from Trump's speeches or more on the JCPOA's terms. Navlis top news on Iran-U.S. policy. Turn News 26, Turn News 28, Turn News 27.
Shut up. And then I said, so essentially, he criticized every other president before him, but now it's okay when he does it, and he's telling the truth. So here's the response. I mean, I'm not saying that shit. I'm stupid.
Professional answer, yes. That's the pattern critics have pointed out. Donald Trump built his political brand on criticizing previous presidents, especially on foreign wars, WMD claims, and regime change tactics. But now, when he takes similar or even more aggressive actions, he claims it's different because he says his intelligence is better. He believes his motives are more justified, and he frames his actions as decisive, not reckless. The contradiction is clear. He said Bush lied about WMDs to justify Iraq. He warned Obama would start a war with Iran just to win re-election. Now he bombs Iran, using vague WMD claims himself, despite no confirmed intel of weaponization. So yes, to many observers and analysts, it looks like he's using the same playbook he once condemned, just under his own branding.
Typical.
Machiavelli answer? Exactly. He called Bush a liar. He warned Obama was going to fake a war. Now he's doing the same shit and acting like he's the truth teller. Classic hustle. Knock the old kings off the throne by calling them fake, then wear the same damn crown and say it shines brighter. It ain't about truth. It's about control of the narrative. Want to dig into how this plays politically or internationally?
Give me your assessment of how Donald Trump likes to play the narrative. how he spreads these false flags, manipulates the people with patriotism. And this is going to be my last question for it, and I'm just posting this.
Professional answer. Donald Trump has consistently shown a strategic mastery of narrative control, often using patriotism, fear, and grievance to shape public opinion. Here's a breakdown of how he plays the game. 1. Shift the blame. Take the credit. Trump criticizes others for actions he later takes himself, but reframes them as bold and necessary under his leadership. Example: condemned Bush's Iraq War, later bombed Syria and Iran while calling it strong leadership. 2. Use of false flags and threat inflation. He often hypes up external threats, like Iran's nuclear program or immigration invasions, with exaggerated or misleading claims, then positions himself as the only one who can stop them. These narratives distract from domestic issues and unify his base around fear and survival. 3. Wrap it in the flag. Trump links every move to patriotism and loyalty to the country. Dissent is framed as being un-American or weak. He tells his base, "They don't hate me, they hate you. I'm just in the way." That emotional bond makes people defend him even when he contradicts himself. 4. Weaponize media and messaging. He creates his own reality through repetition, nicknames, social media, and echo chambers.
Called a loop feedback.
Falsehoods become truths through constant exposure. News that contradicts him becomes fake news, while conspiracy becomes maybe true.
Right.
5. Master of cognitive dissonance. Trump excels at keeping people emotionally invested, even if it means holding two contradictory beliefs at once. The deep state lied about WMDs. And then, Iran has nukes, we need to act now. Because he frames both statements as protecting us, the contradiction gets ignored. Bottom line, Trump uses patriotism as a weapon, fear as a motivator, and narrative control as a shield. He doesn't just play the game, he rewrites the rules while making you think you're winning. Machiavelli answer. Machiavelli. Trump's game is illusion mixed with nationalism. He'll light the fire, then sell you the water, calling it a blessing. He waves the flag to blind folks while slipping the knife in behind the back. It's not about facts, it's about feelings. He makes fear feel like truth, makes war feel like defense, and makes himself feel like a damn savior. That's how he moves the crowd. That's how the puppet master dances with strings you didn't even know were tied to your chest. Want me to break this down in a timeline, or show how it compares to other populist leaders?
Alright, y'all have fun with that.